What's going on, H-Town and Houston Rockets fans all over the world, no matter where you are, even if you're not in Houston or Texas? Thanks so much for watching Rockets Daily. My name is David Delano. We're going to get right into it. We're not going to talk about the Summer League too much today, but, we got Summer League action going against the Portland Trail Blazers on Thursday, and we'll definitely be getting into that tomorrow. And I'll be watching. I'll be watching bad summer basketball if it's involving the Rockets and talking about it and telling you what I see in case you don't want to check it out, which I don't blame you. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this upcoming season, middle of July, but anything and everything pertaining to your Houston Rockets we're going to take a look at. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Help us grow. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate all the comments as well. Been reading all of them, and we're going to continue throughout the week to get into some of those comments as well. So let's go ahead and first of all, let's talk about, this was released about a week ago, the 2025 NBA Cup. Have you forgot about the NBA Cup? Yes, the NBA Cup is there. There's a Summer League championship too. Obviously, NBA Cup means a lot more. Had a comment about, is there a Summer League championship? Yes, there is a Summer League playoff and championship, but the Rockets won't be involved in. But the NBA Cup, we're going to have the third NBA Cup, which got some criticism, but let me know how you feel about the NBA Cup. So far, I am a fan of it simply for the fact, let's be honest, just for me personally, NBA season before Christmas, in recent history, it's been a little tough to watch as far as the effort from day to day with the NBA Cup, especially this season when you're coming in as a contender. We've been talking about, Reed Shepard obviously been a popular topic. The guard depth of the Rockets has been a popular topic, and a lot of guys pointed out, and I've been mentioning some different veteran point guard options out there from like Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Seth Curry, Malcolm Brogdon, all of these different guys, Gary Payton II, that the Rockets could potentially bring in. But obviously, if you bring in, let's say, like a Chris Paul, and you've got Fred VanFleet and Chris Paul, well, what does that really do to, along with Aaron Holiday, what does that really do with seeing what the Rockets have in Reed Shepard? Although Stone's clearly made it, and we all know this is no longer a developmental situation. So, you want to develop Reed, but obviously you want to see if he is going to be someone that we can, as much as we can see early on, if he's someone that we can depend on in the postseason, throughout the season. His NBA Summer League is done after just 2 games. So, because of the NBA Cup, we'll get to see some meaningful basketball early on in the season, which is always a good thing. NBA Cup starts on October 31st. And let's go ahead and just look at the groups here. So, you'll see the way that this works is there are 6 different 5-team divisions, and the winner of each of these 6 groups, I should say, advance to the are going to go ahead and advance to the final 8 are going to advance. So it's going to be the top 6 teams and then the next 2. And the fun thing about the NBA Cup is you have those 2 wild card teams, and a lot of those tiebreakers depend on point differential. So teams can't really keep their foot off the gas. You could be up by 15 points with 3 minutes to go, and you want to keep scoring and try to win by 25, which has been a little bit of teams have had to really adjust. It's in your best interest to run up the score in the NBA Cup. Now, when we look at this here, the Rockets draw. The Rockets are going to be in the group with the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Portland Trail Blazers. And this starts on October 31st. So we're going to see some competitive, meaningful basketball early. And what I like about this, you could tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think that you could definitely make a strong argument here that the Rockets group may be the toughest in the NBA. As we look around that group with the Celtics, the odds makers are down on the Celtics this year, but it's still, they're still going to be a good competitive team. You look at that group with the Celtics and the Magic. Look at the group with the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. But really, when you Oklahoma City and Minnesota, along with Phoenix, but Utah and Sacramento, I really think that this Rockets group is the best and most competitive summer league. Sorry, not summer league. Going to be the best NBA Cup. This is regular season basketball that we're talking about here. So we're going to get to see an early look with obviously Oklahoma City is the favorite to win the whole thing again, but biggest competitor after Oklahoma City, where it's a bit of a debate who's better, the Rockets or the Denver Nuggets. Man, getting to see some competitive, meaningful basketball early on against the Denver Nuggets, which I think is a great thing. The Golden State Warriors, always going to be tough. San Antonio Spurs, high expectations over there. And don't sleep on the Portland. Don't sleep on the Portland Trailblazers. I expect them to, play hard over there. Chauncey Billups, Drew Holiday now over there. So, thing about this NBA Cup, I definitely think that this will be a good chance for us to see a little bit of where this team is, to get a little bit of an early playoff preview. Last year, Rockets went all the way to the semifinals in the NBA Cup before losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it showed that yes, we were a much improved team. And first ever NBA Cup, the Lakers won. Last season, the Milwaukee Bucks won. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, but Rockets made it to that Final Four, and also had a big win in the NBA Cup to get to the stage to play Oklahoma City against the Golden State Warriors. So Rockets did well in the NBA Cup last year, and it was a sign that the Rockets were a legitimate team. So I do like this, and that's just an early preview. We'll talk about it more as we get more in depth. But as we look at the NBA Cup and all of that, and looking at the when I mentioned that I believe that the Rockets have the toughest group, the odds makers seem to agree on that as well. So these are going to be the odds. These are going to be the odds as we're looking into next season. These are going to be over on DraftKings when we start to talk about who is favored to win the NBA championship, if you're a betting man or a betting woman, to see where the Rockets currently stand. And right now, over on DraftKings, you will see this. These are the odds to win the whole thing, to win the NBA Finals. Right now, Oklahoma City Thunder are plus 260. What do these numbers mean if you're not into sports betting? Basically, if you wager, just think of these all plus. All of these are pluses, meaning that based off if you were to risk $100, this would be the amount of profit that you'd get. So Oklahoma City Thunder favored. If you put $100 down on Oklahoma City Thunder, you would profit $260. Right now on DraftKings, the Houston Rockets have the second best odds to win the NBA championship at plus 700, but the Denver Nuggets right behind at plus 800. Western Conference heavily favored over anyone in the East. Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks are deadlocked there in the East at plus 850. But you see the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, and the Denver Nuggets all have the top three most likely odds to win the championship. So I do like the fact of, even when we talked about the Warriors, you've got two of the top three teams in the same group, that opening NBA Cup. And then also, even deeper than that, But including the Warriors, you got 3 out of the top 8 teams all in that same group. Not on the screen here, but if you're looking to just look at the Southwest Division, Vegas not giving hardly anyone a shot in that division outside of the Rockets. Rockets are minus 450 to win the Southwest Division. That means you'd have to risk $450 just to profit $100 on the Rockets in the division. Spurs plus 700, Grizzlies plus 1500. Dallas Mavericks plus 1,600 and the Pelicans plus 7,000. So Houston Rockets by far and away the favorite to win the Southwest Division. And right now, at least according to DraftKings here on July 16th, they are second best odds to win the NBA championship right now. And as we talk about the NBA Cup, proving and guys being able to show how these pieces are going to gel with around Kevin Durant, how our guard play is going to show up early in the season to get as much of a playoff test as you can. I know it's the NBA Cup, it's early in the season, but it should be exciting. And as we look at the betting odds and the expectations, and excited to go up against the Denver Nuggets in that NBA Cup early on, along with the Warriors and everyone else in that group. We've been talking about the guards a lot, and we're going to continue to do that. It could get a little bit repetitive, but Fred VanFleet, really eventful offseason for him. Restructuring that contract that has definitely given the team some extra flexibility. Been named as the president of the Players Association. NBA Players Association. So definitely a leader, someone who's respected by his peers. And this is going to be a big season for Fred. Obviously, we know we need Kevin Durant. If something happens, if Kevin Durant can't play throughout the season and stay healthy, that's not going to be good for the team. But without stating the obvious, I think that as we've talked about, I think with Reed Shepherd, still a lot of question marks there. And the point that I'm making is I think that Fred VanFleet can really be the most important player, one of the most important players on this roster. And the reason that I say that is obviously Durant has to stay healthy. I think, Amin, Jabari, Tari, all of these guys I expect to take a step forward. Shane Goon, I think we know we're going to get with him. I think that he could be better with, playing with Durant. But VanFleet is the guy that is, 31 years old. Durant made some interesting comments, which is hard to argue with on LeBron, the podcast that LeBron James has with Steve Nash. And this was before, some of these things were official. But, he kind of mentioned not really seeing, it's really tough unless you're just like a Kyrie Irving or a dog on defense, as he mentioned, like Davion Mitchell or Drew Holiday. Really tough to see guys 6'2" and under excelling as starting guards in the NBA. And Fred definitely is one of those guys. But unlike some of these other guys on the roster, 31 years old, and it's definitely been an overachiever coming into the NBA as an undrafted free agent. But when we look at, Fred last year missed 22 games. There were some moments, just being honest and objective, and I'm rooting for Fred. I'm definitely rooting for Fred. But there were some moments during the season where I was just watching, and through 82 games, there's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad, where I was wondering, like, how long, how long is Fred really going to be a part of this team? And obviously he showed up in the playoffs and was one of our most reliable players. So he's back. But, you look at his PER, his true shooting percentage. They were the lowest that they've been in his NBA career, with the exception of his rookie season. So, you look at him playing more than 35 minutes a game at his size, at his age. Fred, how many minutes are we going to really be depending on him to play? Is he going to be able to play those over more than 35 minutes a game again? Is he going to play 60 games plus again? And if Aaron Holiday, Reed Shepard, or even going with, I think that at some point we know that like Aaron Holiday, Reed Shepard, but we know that Fred is really going to have to be the guy so that we're not depending on them just too much, and need outside shooting. And talk about Thompson at point guard, some different things that you can do. But I think that when you look at what Fred brings to the table, he's someone that's going to need to be healthy, and we're going to need a productive season out of him. We don't want to see, we had a little bit of a decline during the regular season from year one with the Rockets versus year two. If he takes another decline, can this team win a championship? That's the question. We'll see, but I think that Fred's definitely one of the most important pieces, maybe the most important wild card piece on this roster to depend on the team's success next season. Let me know who you, and it's all a team effort. So I guess I would ask, who do you think's the most important piece? But obviously, I think we're gonna, we're a complete team, and we're gonna need everybody to play their part. But I think that Fred definitely, it's gonna be someone that, watching Reed's play right now in the summer league, we're gonna need a big season out of Fred. We need him to be healthy. So get ready, buddy. And last, we're going to go ahead and get into our history segment, because why not? Let's go ahead and respect the history of the past. It's the off season anyway, and we're going to talk about the 1973 to 1974 Houston Rockets season here briefly. Not a season that's really going to go down as being very memorable in the Rockets, history. Went 32-50 that season. Did not make the playoffs. This was a season that the Boston Celtics ended up beating the Milwaukee Bucks for the NBA championship that year. Rockets were still coached by Johnny Egan. Finished third in the Central Division, sixth in the East, but NBA had only 4 teams in each conference advanced at that time. But it was as we talked about before, it was an interesting time when you start to look at some of the personalities and some of the Hall of Famers and the retired players, retired coaches. Time. So we had Rudy Tomjanovich had an outstanding season, made the All-Star team, led the team despite the losing, 24.5 points per game and 9 rebounds. Starts to show you, 25 years old, why he's beyond just coaching, why he's retired jersey for the Rockets. Calvin Murphy as well was second on the team with 20.4 points per game. Had Mike Newland with 18.4 points per game, and Zayd Abdul-Aziz 10.9 points per game, but led the team with 11.7 rebounds per game earlier in his career, known as Don Smith before changing his name. Jimmy Walker was traded away after just 3 games into the season. So overall, Rudy T, Calvin Murphy, strong seasons individually, but 32-50. This was the 1973-74 Rockets season. And as we get into this, it makes it easier looking at it year by year, as far as, some of the greatest Rockets of all time were in. Still not yet a whole lot of success for the franchise at this point, but obviously better things were yet to come, and we're going to talk about that, as we're going to be a lot of time to talk about things throughout the offseason and through the season. My name's David Delano. This is Rockets Daily, brought to you by FanArt. You guys can also check me out on X or Instagram at GetSportsStrong. If you see me in the city, feel free to say hello. Thanks so much for watching again. Keep the comments coming. I know that a lot of these things are a little bit objective, but anything that you want to chime in about with the Rockets, and even when it comes to the betting odds, always love to talk about that type of stuff. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll preview, for what it's worth, the game between the Portland Trailblazers and the Summer League, and any other new developments that come our way. Thanks so much for watching. Let's have a good one.